Step into the world where history and money meet, where every coin tells a story and every detail could unlock hidden value. Welcome to Rare American Coins, where today we uncover the secrets of the Australia 20-cent coin from 1971. Today we begin a deep journey into the fascinating story of the Australian 20-cent coin from 1971. A coin that on the surface seems like just another piece of everyday change, but in truth carries layers of history design, cultural influence, minting technology, and collector intrigue that together create a narrative worth exploring for hours. Without pause, we are going to peel back the layers of this coin from the birth of decimal currency in Australia to the precise year of 1971 and the factors that shaped both the coinage and the society that used it. To understand the 1971 20-cent coin, we first have to go back to 1966, the year Australia transitioned from the old British-influenced system of pounds, shillings, and pence to a modern decimal currency. The introduction of decimal currency was one of the most important changes in Australian financial history and was a matter of national pride and modernization. The Australian government launched a new series of coins that would become instantly recognizable. The 1 cent, the 2 cent, the 5 cent, the 10 cent, the 20 cent, and the 50-cent coin all struck with fresh designs that reflected a uniquely Australian identity. The 20-cent coin stood out as one of the most successful of these new decimal coins designed by Stuart Devlin, a master craftsman, jeweler, and coin designer who was later appointed goldsmith and jeweler to the Queen. The coin displayed a striking image of a platypus, an iconic Australian animal chosen for its uniqueness and its representation of Australian wildlife. Devlin's vision was not simply to create currency, but to create miniature works of art that could be carried in the pocket of every Australian. The obverse side of the coin carried the portrait of Queen Elizabeth II at the time, a young monarch whose reign symbolized continuity and connection to the Commonwealth. This portrait was designed by Arnold Machin and became one of the most widely recognized portraits of the Queen across the world. By 1971, the 20-cent coin had already become a staple in everyday life, used for small transactions, bus fares, groceries, and countless other daily needs. Yet, the 1971 issue is special for collectors because of its position in the early years of decimal currency and because of the subtle differences and minting variations that can affect value. The mintage for the 1971 20-cent coin was in the tens of millions, making it a common coin in circulation. But as always with numismatics, the story lies not only in the number struck, but in the condition of surviving examples in the presence of mint errors and in the cultural context of the time. Australia in 1971 was undergoing major transformations, socially, politically, and economically. The Vietnam War was winding down with Australian forces gradually being withdrawn. The Cultural Revolution of the late 1960s was still rippling through society with music, art, and fashion shaping a younger generation. At the same time, Australia's economy was growing, driven by mining exports and agricultural production. Within this context, the 1971 20-cent coin became not just a monetary tool, but also a small historical marker of the era. Every coin minted in 1971 has passed through hands that lived through these changes, making the coin a tiny artifact of national memory. Collectors are particularly interested in the 1971 20-cent coin for several reasons. First are the variations in minting. While the majority were struck at the Royal Australian Mint in Canberra, some were also struck overseas to meet production needs, and these can show small differences that become fascinating for specialists. Second are the error coins. As with all minting processes, mistakes sometimes occurred, and these mistakes are treasures to collectors. Off-center strikes, double strikes, clipped planchets, and filled dies can all create variations of the 1971 20-cent that transform a common coin into a rare collectible worth many times its face value. Third is the condition of the coin. The grading of coins follows international standards from poor fair, good very fine, extremely fine, about uncirculated, and finally mint state. The higher the grade, the greater the collector value. A 1971 20-cent in pristine mint state, with no scratches and full luster, can command prices far beyond what most people imagine for such a coin. We can also examine how the 20-cent coin became a subject of nostalgia for Australians born in that era. People who grew up in the 1970s often remember using these coins for everyday purchases, and as time passes, nostalgia increases the cultural value of items from that period, making them more collectible not only in Australia, but internationally, as collectors of Commonwealth coinage and lovers of unique wildlife designs seek them out. The metal composition of the 1971 20-cent coin also plays a role in its story. Composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, it was a hard-wearing coin built to last in circulation. The use of cupro-nickel was standard for coins of that era and provided both durability and a bright silvery appearance. However, as decades passed, coins became worn and toned, giving each coin its own unique look. This aging process itself fascinates collectors because it ties the physical appearance of the coin to the journey it has taken through time. The global perspective is equally important, for in 1971, many nations were updating their coinage systems. Australia's adoption of decimal currency placed it alongside modern economies while still retaining its cultural individuality through designs like the platypus on the 20-cent coin. This is why international collectors often see Australian decimal coins not as simple currency, but as artistic symbols of national identity in metal form. As we continue to unravel the story of the 1971 20-cent coin, we also find ourselves diving into the economics of collecting. The value of such a coin depends not only on rarity and condition, but also on demand within the numismatic market. Over the decades, auctions have recorded surprising sales, where seemingly ordinary 1971 20-cent coins in high grades sold for amounts that startled casual observers. This demonstrates how numismatics is a market driven by knowledge, passion, and scarcity factors. Beyond the marketplace, the 1971 20-cent coin holds significance in education. Many coin enthusiasts first became interested in the hobby by finding old coins in change and asking questions about their origin and value. The 1971 issue often turns up in collections of beginners, serving as a gateway to the broader world of coin collecting. This accessibility, combined with hidden potential value, makes it one of the most intriguing coins of Australian decimal currency. If we zoom out further, the very act of studying a coin like the 1971 20-cent reminds us that money is never just money. It is history, art, technology, culture, and memory pressed into metal. The platypus design continues to inspire discussions about how nations represent themselves through symbols, while the obverse portrait of Queen Elizabeth reflects the Commonwealth connection that defined much of Australia's identity in the 20th century. For the remainder of this journey, we could explore the technical minting process of the coin, the machinery used at the Royal Australian Mint, the preparation of blanks or planchets, the striking process, and the quality control methods. We could examine surviving documentation from the mint about production levels and challenges. We could analyze the spread of these coins through circulation and how many might still exist in hoards tucked away in drawers, jars, and attics around the country. We could also study the role of this coin in commerce and how inflation over the decades has changed the purchasing power of 20 cents, what it could buy in 1971 compared to today. Through all of these threads, the 1971 Australian 20-cent coin emerges as a powerful reminder of how small objects can carry great stories. It is more than a piece of metal. It is a link to the past, a collectible artifact, and a symbol of Australian identity within the broader world of coins.